将来に向けて頑張ってる。そんならみんなライバルなんだよね。だから決勝で会おうぜ。
Hey guys, it's Glasses Senpai here. Today I'm going to show you guys how to draw Uraraka from My Hero Academia as a 3D chibi. First off, I'm going to go ahead and draw a circle for the head. I usually just use my cheat sheet here. Draw a line right down the middle of the circle that you drew, right there. Now we're going to go ahead and get an outline of the chin. Now that we have our chin outlined, we're going to go ahead and drop in a couple of guidelines here with our handy dandy ruler. What we're going to do is that we're going to measure how tall this head is. So I like to measure in centimeters. So right now we're at about 4.7 centimeters here. So yours might be different, but that's okay. Mine's at 4.7 centimeters. So we're going to just make two little tiny marks that we can erase. And we're gonna make lines going across, and these will serve as our guidelines. Go ahead and put in about 4 of these lines. Notice how I said 4.7, 4.8 centimeters roughly. Take whatever measurement you had and just space out the lines accordingly. Now that we have our guidelines in place, we're gonna go ahead and look at our reference image that I will leave in the link in the description below. Now granted, we won't be using the armor pieces in this piece, we'll be using her school uniform. Still, same kind of pose applies. So we're gonna go ahead and just roughly sketch out the body and then add our details in later. Alright, now that we have our character kind of sort of sketched out here in her pose, what we're going to do, just for your reference, shoulders are going to be down here along this second line, waist is going to be in between your second and your third line, and knees will fall usually in the middle to upper region, right here. You could say maybe about a third down from the third line. You can just make observations. Personally, I usually make these toes line up with our last and fourth line down here. That way, you guys won't get thrown off when you're trying to get some of the proportions and stuff. Have you noticed the hands here? I drew them a little bit larger than I usually do just because of that pose that she's in, as you can see up here. I made the hands a little bit larger just to make that foreshortening work, because her arms are bent and facing us. That's why her arms are like this. But yeah, look at this. This is kind of how your sketch should roughly look like, depending on your style. Next step, we're gonna go ahead and add some more details going off of her school uniform. Well, you can use the clothing that she has in the pose photo that I have, or you can do what I'm doing, which is the school uniform, which, well, I'm just doing just because. Now we have most of our details for the body all sketched out. All these little buttons and just very simple folds in the fabric that you would expect to see. Normally, not too overboard though. But yeah, not too difficult. I mean, shoes, skirt, school jacket, and then the tie, basically, those are pretty much all you have to worry about. Although, one thing I will point out, if you look at our reference photo, you can see that on her collar here of her jacket and on the shoulders, you'll notice that it is a different color. So be careful and pay attention to that, or else you might actually miss to sketch that out. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to drawing the facial features. Alright, so what we're going to do here is that we're going to take a peek at our reference photo just to get an idea of where the eye's at. This style is a little bit different to what I'm used to doing, but that's why we always have our handy dandy ruler to just mark things out for us and make sure we're not doing anything off. Now the eyes on her head are kind of high up and they're rather large, almost shoujo-y kind of style, like the very early 90s type. So we're gonna make our area for the eyes kind of wide. Of course, this isn't the whole area, this is just kind of a rough indication of where we'll be working. Alright, so we pretty much have all of our details down. We have the hair all drawn out and good to go. Just do a little bit of touch-ups here. Go ahead and double check over your drawing and make sure it matches a reference photo. That way you're not missing anything. You can choose to skip the inking part that I'm about to do. Also, if you'd like to just skip this part of the video entirely, go down to the comment section and look at my comment. I will have the times to skip around in this video. Alright, we're now ready to go ahead and start coloring in our character. So I'm going to be using mostly my Copic markers, but I might be using a couple of Prismacolors. You can use whichever drawing medium that you so prefer, but I just prefer using markers as opposed to color pencil or watercolor, what have you, for this project. Alright, so we're pretty much done with the main coloring. All that's left to do now is that we're going to go ahead and use the same colors that we used before here, and we're going to use those colors to shade in the character. Well, all I'm going to do now is just add some highlights to the eyes with my Copic Opaque White, and then we're going to go ahead and take an X-Acto knife and cut out our character here, and then I'll show you how we can make it pop up. Alright, now that we have our character all cut out now, what we're going to do is that while you were cutting that, make sure you leave plenty of room down here on your paper. So if you're drawing this, may be too late, but do not draw it towards the bottom of your paper because you need a base. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to carefully take just a small section about this much and we're going to fold this over. I like to go like this. I'm going to fold it over, make it lay flat, and make a crease just like this. And make sure it's going to hold, and then you can bring the character back up to about an upright position, and I'll just turn it like this. And there you guys have it. That is how you make a chibi in 3D. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do make sure you like and share, and if you really like this video, be sure to subscribe for more of this awesome content. Anyway guys, I'm Glasses Senpai, and I will see you guys in the next episode of How to Draw.